As of last week, I'm taking commissions. I got a message for a couple of continuous line drawings. They wanted a traditional punting scene with the Oxford skyline and one of the Natural History Museum with a T-Rex. So a while ago I started doing continuous line drawings in figurative work, and then for fun I started seeing if I could do them without the line ever crossing over itself. Basically like a game of Snake. This is surprisingly fun. Here's an example of why I struggled. I always wanted to get back in to fill the detail in an area, only to come to find I was trapped and I couldn't squeeze my pen through. But for some reason this stuck, and I practiced it in cafes, out of my window, by the fireplace, and slowly I got the hang of it. And now I find it works really well for presents. So I do them on demand, in one single continuous non-crossing line. To kick things off, I need to get some reference drawings. So that's what we're going to do. I'm opposite the punting at Magdalen Bridge, trying to frame things up. So here's my thinking. Keep the tower in here, have the nice bridge here, and then potentially have the punters here, so you could have some figures in, and then someone actually punting, maybe the pole going here. Maybe a nice hat on, I don't know. And then what I might do is I might lie, and I might actually put a skyline in here. And put in, so some of the other spires of Oxford, I'm not really sure. Maybe that'd be a good idea. Could just draw a pedalo. There's a dude paddleboarding, but I can't find anyone punting. It's a bit cold, it's still March. I couldn't find anyone punting, so I head to the Natural History Museum. Here we are. Love it in here. So I kind of struggled a bit at which angle to kind of tackle the Natural History Museum from. Hello Pedal and Post.
Hello.
Quick plug for Pedal and Post here. They don't sponsor me or anything, they're just the best way to get things delivered around Oxford. Plus I might want a job with them. Quick nip to broad canvas, get some paper, back home. So having a look here, you can see I tried to get a water reflection in. It'll be too wacky with a single line. Here's the version I like more, with the punts beneath the chapel, but I'm not sure what to put up top. I think some kind of banner could work. And I can squeeze in the Oxford skyline underneath it. I'm pretty happy with that. With the Natural History Museum, I couldn't decide which angle, but I did like the idea of using the dinosaur feet, which they actually have outside the front of the museum. However, I couldn't think what style of T-Rex to actually draw. Maybe this guy. So the more I played with the layout for the museum picture, the more I got unstuck. So having a relook at some of the photos I took, I really like it from the angle on the right. This is, I think, the one I'll go with. Next I'll do a quick test to roughly plan out the line, work out its roots so that I don't get myself trapped when I try and draw it up big. I'm happy with that. I have got a few issues in terms of composition, but I don't really know how to tackle them, so I'm just going to do a full-size mock-up. Because I start and I finish on one line, I can't fill out different areas of the picture in the same way as when I would do a normal drawing. Often they come out too cramped together or too disjointed, and the only way to do it is kind of do it, find out. Yeah, and I think I was right too. This eye I couldn't really get to work right. So I think I could put some more details in up here in these windows. and these feet just don't really work. They look more like chicken's feet. I also think I want to follow the angle of the tail and kind of curve the footprints to come out of the frame, and I think I need to get some more sections that are white. So I'm going to take away the section above the dinosaur because I just don't like the square around his head. So this is much nicer, really clean line. I can't work out what to do with the eye. Obviously the eye is sitting solo here, and that's going to be difficult to do with a continuous line, so I'm going to try to work out a few ways that I can make the line connect into the head. I think I like this swirling down to the nose. This is going to be the final piece. It is quite tricky. I do a rough like pencil outline, and then it's time to go, and I'm going to try and do this really crisp. I'm actually really happy with how I've done the mouth here. I know it looks pretty obvious, but it actually took me a while to work out how to get the teeth to work in a continuous line and get this kind of back side of the jaw in one line. And again, the lettering is always a pain, but it actually works looking a little bit vernacular. It doesn't always have to be super tidy. And there we have it. I was really chuffed with that one, and time to move on to the second one, which was the one that I first started, the punting scene in Oxford. Now what am I going to do? So I'm thinking of doing some lines on the bridge. I'm also not sure about what angles, because I need all the lines to kind of reference each other. It is going to be tricky to get these punts. I quite like them stacked up like this, but I don't really know if it's going to work. Maybe I could put these extra tunnels in here. That might work better. I don't really know whether to have 2 tunnels or 1. I could have a bus up on the bridge with the Oxford Tube. Yeah, this banner's all right. I'm worried it's a little bit top heavy. So at this point I think it's quite useful to look back at the one I just did and see how it worked. These are going to the same people, so I'd quite like them to work as a set. Nice leveled lines I'd like to replicate, and maybe get the perspective really going, but maybe do it from the opposite side. I also like how your eye is transferred around this image. It's kind of pulled up by these windows and then flick back down on the Oxford sign and kind of sweeps back round through the feet and up to the dinosaur, and then it kind of repeats itself. I really like that. So I'm just playing around with different lines to try and see how I can replicate that in this image. The stage now where I'm going to do a mock-up. I quite like the skyline, but as I start to fill in the details down the chapel, I do realise I've yet to do any of the punting, and this was a punting scene. Quite like it, but then when I put them together, there's something about it that just doesn't work. Not really a feverish punting scene, it's just one singular punt. I'm also not very happy with these people. This looks like the hat you wear in Venice. It doesn't really look like an English boating hat. And this face, I don't know what's going on. It looks like a manic smile, but I do like this face in the middle, so I think I might make them more like that. If I'm going to add more punts, then it's going to be more complicated, and it has to still have that really simplistic form to match the other image. So I decided on a much smaller top section. We're going to have the banner much smaller, we're going to have the building much smaller, because it's got to be a continuous line. One of the punters has got to connect people via the pole, and the other continuous line is going to connect people by the second person in the boat. The third boat, it's actually going to connect by what might be a ripple in the water. And I think it works much better. I had some people on the bridge. It's a pretty tricky thing to do, so I'm just marking out some lines, and hopefully this version is going to be the final version. And so there we have it. Here's some close-up images of them. So if you'd like any of these continuous line drawings, just drop me a line. They work quite well on A3 like these ones, but you can do them as small as A5. So thanks very much. Check back next week. It's not going to be like an episode next week. I'm not going to be rambling on. I'm going to be trying something a bit different. So yeah, tune in and let's see how this goes. Cheers guys. Bye.